welcome to the broadcast. I am your host, Maggie Cavanaugh, and today I am with Gr8tful Chick, okay, who is also my friend, Larissa. And I am so thankful to have you on here tonight.
It is so great to be here, Maggie. Thank you for asking me, and thank you for sharing the message of gratitude. Right? We know that more people need to hear about ways that we can cultivate gratitude and why it's important. So, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's been over a year since I'd had you on the show, and I've been looking forward to this because I believe when I had you on before, I was just doing the lives like we're live right now on Facebook and throwing it over on YouTube. But now it's going to be airing on Creative Motion Network. So if you all have Roku, make sure you add that channel and make sure that you share and invite your friends to log on because it's an amazing network. I'm very grateful to be part of it, and it is all faith based. So, but so with the gratitude thing, we're getting ready to go into Thanksgiving, and I know we had attempted, y'all. We had a little bit of pushback. Okay, a little bit of pushback today. We had attempted, and finally I gave up and said, wait until I get home to stable internet because my office was not cooperating. But we were talking about how sometimes when people think of gratitude or being thankful, they automatically think about Thanksgiving. And that's great. Mm-hmm. I do that. I do all of the everyday posting something to be grateful for, but it is a 365 thing that the Lord has allowed Larissa, AKA Gr8tful Chick, to really maximize. So tell them about the beginning journey of how Gr8tful Chick was born.
Thanks. So I believe that the Lord, a really long time ago, but definitely 8 years ago, prompted me to start posting 3 things I was grateful for every night on social media. Now, I had been journaling for years, which was a sweet practice that my mother-in-law actually inspired me to do. So I had been journaling, literally writing things down, and then the Lord was slowly moving me more towards the gratitude component. So sometime in the middle of October, so that's why it's 8 years this month, the Lord prompted me to start posting as my last post of the night 3 things I was grateful for. And lots of times people will ask why 3 things. And I'm like, I really just don't know. The Lord just gave me that number, but I know we can all come up with at least one thing, right? That's kind of easy. But 3 things might be a tiny bit of a stretch, but then to ask someone to come up with like 5 or 10, that might be too much. So I just started posting, believing and thinking, hey, I'll probably do this through Thanksgiving, right? Because everybody does something like that in November, which we love and we're so appreciative, right? But you got to love the Lord, because I love to start things at the beginning of the week, the beginning of the month, or the beginning of the year. And he just like prompted me in the middle of October. I went through November, and then I thought, well, hey, we've already done it for like 6 weeks now. We might as well just finish the year out strong. And that has turned into 8 years. And I think in the 8 years, I might have missed like 5. Part of that had to do with flying, overseas. My husband is a Marine, and we were, having, moving and whatnot, and possibly sometime in the last year and a half with all of my husband's sickness, I possibly missed one or 2. So, but it has really made the world of difference. And I feel like, and this is why we have this title, gratitude changes everything. And I think I have proof and evidence of that I share, whether it's on a live broadcast or on social media or in workshops or when I speak. I truly believe that I can share that with full confidence and help others find that to be true as well.
It is such a powerful thing that whether, and obviously we're strong believers here. Larissa's been walking with the Lord for years, and we understand the power of being thankful and grateful for everything that the Lord has done for us. But even the world knows that gratitude works. There are so many studies that have been done. And, one of the ones is that if you every morning practice gratitude and every night practice gratitude, it literally will change the way you think. Our brains are neuroplastic. They're constantly, that's why the word tells us to renew our minds, because the Lord wouldn't tell us to do something that it wasn't able to do. And gratitude changes things. So, I know personally that it literally changed my life. I used to be very negative And I was one of those people, not only is the glass half empty, it's got holes and it's smashed and it's spilled everywhere. That was my life for many
Yeah.
years. I know a lot of people look at me now and they're like, there's no way you were that negative. I was a crazy psycho woman. Okay. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But,
Been there.
but when I understood what the Lord had done for me and just had the gratefulness for the cross, it
Mm-hmm.
literally started to rewire my brain. It started to change me inside out. And now it is part of my regular routine of practicing gratitude because,
Yeah.
there are so many times like, I might be sitting in traffic and I'll be thinking, man, I hate this traffic. This is such a drag. But there are people out there that don't have a car,
Yes. Amen.
or that has a car that doesn't have air conditioning or heat. I mean, there's just a
Yeah,
lot of different things. And it's really a paradigm shift. So when you
it is.
started practicing it heavy, that's whenever you were dealing with your husband's illness.
Yeah, so he was first diagnosed with cancer back in, I think it was 2010 or 11. And God was super sweet, healed him, but we did an overseas move and then dealt with this like major unknown after he had been deployed. Because, like I said, he was active duty Marine back then, and we had moved to Hawaii. But when you move under that kind of, I don't want to call it a cloud, but that kind of like this is what you're dealing with. So you're trying to move internationally and deal with that. But God was super sweet to heal Bill that first time here on earth. And then I started cultivating gratitude, I think within a year of that. And I was like you, Maggie, just really negative. Bill could attest to that. And it was a lot of, life's unfair. And why is this happening to us or to me, or we don't deserve it? And cultivating gratitude has really changed that because life isn't fair. It's not fair for any of us. If it was fair, we would have gone to the cross, right? If it was fair, things would look different. And so it changed everything. It changed my marriage, it changed friendships. So it's why I'm so passionate about it, is because it's really a simple practice, right? Might not be easy. We do have to, like any new thing, we have to add it in and make time for it and adjust and be consistent. And yet I really think it's worth it. And I use I use the example of brushing your teeth. I mean, nobody wakes up in the morning and goes, should I brush my teeth? Or, oh, what's that one thing I always do, but now I can't remember? We brush our teeth. It's an automatic thing. Now, when, and how often is a different story. But if we can brush our teeth every day, right? If we can remember to eat every day, we can cultivate gratitude. It's just we have to be intentional and then we have to make room for it.
Yes, I totally agree with that. And so does our brother Paul. And shout out to all of you. We are not ignoring you guys at all, but I have to keep the chat down a little bit because it'll go on TV. And I want to make sure that all the people that are watching our Creative Motion, they can see your comments. I'm putting them up there. So, but Paul said it's so true. Our impact to the world is usually what was the challenge for us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so true. We gain authority in the area where we've been healed. Yeah. And it allows us to pay it forward, so to speak.
Yes,
so, well, I'll tell you, I've always been inspired. I met Larissa on Periscope, and I was like, I love this chick. I was like, this is so fun, because when you go on to one of Larissa's broadcasts, it's not the norm. I'm just going to tell you, it's not the norm. It's a party. It's a party. And she celebrates. I mean, she celebrates anniversaries. She celebrates sobriety dates. She celebrates like your favorite recipe. I mean, and the list goes on and on and on. And they have their little theme song, and Samson is the mascot, her dog. And it's just so fun. It's fun. So
it is so fun. God is very sweet. Yeah, this is Samson. For those of you who aren't used to us, this is Samson the bulldog, 6-year-old bulldog now, and donuts, as Paul is saying. We love to eat. We have no problem eating. So, and I've eaten on broadcast, and we've done meetups at restaurants. It's been a blast. God has been very sweet to let us do this thing, right?
I love it. I love it. He took something that was challenging, a challenging time in your life, and did not allow you to sit down with Mr. Pity and
Nope.
empowered you not only to evaluate your own gratefulness, but to encourage and inspire others to practice it. And that, my dear, is huge. So if you guys are watching this broadcast, I want you to share it out, friends, family, coworkers. Somebody needs to be encouraged because
Yeah.
Larissa's got a new product coming out. Can you tell them a little bit about the launch? I'm really excited about it.
I'm super excited. So I was blessed to be asked last year to do what we call a digital product as a collaboration with my sweet friend Kelly Bangs of Kelly Bangs Creative under the organization called Illustrated Faith. So if you are crafty at all, if you're a faith-based person, and especially if you like Bible journaling, you probably have heard of Illustrated Faith. They've been around for about 6 years, and their purpose was to help creatives worship the Lord like next level, like take their craft and be able to worship the Lord in a different way. And so Kelly is part of their creative team, and she asked me if I'd be willing to write last year. So I got to write 4 devotions, and then the product hadn't even launched, I think, a week or two. And the owner, Shauna Noel, had asked us, hey, would you guys be willing to do this again next year and do it in a physical product? So last year it was a digital product, so you could purchase a bunch of these cute little things, sorry, and print them out. And we talked about gratitude for a month, and just writing at least 3 things that you were grateful for. But if you can only write one, and if you want to write just a word, that is okay, because the whole point is doing it daily and being consistent. So this year, as Maggie is referencing, we are super blessed to have a physical product. Again, you find that at illustratedfaith.com. If you're following me or Maggie, if you're on Instagram especially, you're going to see all kinds of posts, but it's really fun. It gets it arrives from this little bag, and there are at least 3, 4, 5, I think, pieces, or 6 pieces in this. And they actually created this stamp specifically for Project Gr8tful. And inside, you're going to find all kinds of things. Now, what you're not going to find is all this ribbon. I've added this, but the devotions that I got to write are on these cards, and there's 12 of them. And of course, the title, the main theme, of course, is gratitude. But specifically, I felt like the Lord was reminding me that gratitude changes everything. But I know that's a bold statement. So I
It is.
back it up with 12 devotions. And I start off by saying, gratitude is not fluffy. Like sometimes people are like, oh, that's so cute, and we can do cute things. Gratitude is not fluffy. Gratitude is serious grit. When you can be grateful, even on the day where your husband meets Jesus face to face, you know that the rubber has met the road. And so I love that opportunity to be able to share in 12 devotions about how gratitude changes everything. And one of those things is relationships. And another thing is the atmosphere, right? And so we get to do that. And Maggie, that's the cool thing about the Lord, is that his economy is so different. So as he's changing me, and as he's changing you, and as he's working in and through us, we get to bring others along and bless them. So what the goal is going to be is that started out as a 30-day thing, right, for November. And as Maggie said, one of my sweet friends, Ginger Harrington, is quoted by saying, gratitude is not a November thing, and it's a 365-day thing. And the word is very clear: give thanks in all things, right? And lots of other
Yes.
scriptures. But what we were going to do is just 30 days. And then we were inspired and encouraged to do a year-long project. So they will have journals for sale, but whatever you want to do, this is the thing I want to make sure people know. You don't have to buy a single product. You can find us and follow us and be encouraged without buying a single thing. You can put it in a notebook. You can put it in your planner. You can put it in what we call like a traveler's notebook, something a little bit smaller, right? You can do whatever you want. The big thing is find something that inspires you, and then pick a time and be consistent. So as you mentioned, some people do it in the morning, some people do it at night. And actually, the science is showing that if you do it in the morning and at night, what an amazing difference that will make. And so we have not started yet. The product launches this Thursday on illustratedfaith.com, sometime before noon I can't remember if that's Central Standard or Pacific, but sometime before noon. And the cool thing is the digital product will not run out, but you'll need to purchase it, sooner than later, because eventually it's a seasonal thing, right? So eventually they'll take it down off their website. Now the physical product, rumor has it's going to sell out. I don't know. It would be fun to see that it sold out, because that means all the pieces are going to go to somebody. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to decorate some pages, and as part of the kit are these wonderful numbers that Kelly created, and we are going to talk about and unpack every Thursday in November on Instagram, and then also on my broadcast. And then every month, once a month on a Thursday, we haven't decided which one yet, I will go live again to encourage you to cultivate gratitude. But again, we want to keep it simple. We want it to be inspiring, and we need to be consistent, because the consistency is what created this default mechanism in me that can give thanks. In the chemo cube, when my husband was sick with cancer, the night in the hospital where we almost lost him the first time, when he's puking his guts out in the bathroom right next to my office as I'm broadcasting, I could continue to find what was good, right, true, and praiseworthy. I could find God in the details, because it became automatic, like brushing my teeth. Like I didn't wake up in the morning and go, what am I supposed to do? I brush my teeth and I give thanks. So yeah, so I'm super excited. The products are just supposed to help people and inspire, but again, not necessary, especially if you're a crafter and you've got all the crafty things. But if you do purchase it, that'll be super fun. And we're going to take this journey together, a year-long journey. So we start November 1 and we'll finish at the end of October of 2022.
I love it. I love it, because 30 days is just enough to get your feet wet. And we really need more, and consistency. And, of course, some of those studies say that 21 days to make or break a habit, but we know that there's some variations with that. It really takes longer. If you're talking about rewiring your brain, you've got to do it consistently. You've got to do it more often. It reminds me of the scripture that talks about, when you see the times approaching, gather together more. And I think as we see the times approaching, we need to be in the word more. We need to be practicing gratitude more. We need to be journaling and talking to the Lord about things that are going on in our lives, and keeping that constant communication, because that is like taking your, back in the day, they had the cereal Wheaties. It's like eating your Wheaties, which I don't think they're any good. I think it's probably a bad illustration, but they made it sound like it was really good, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Don't fall for the commercials. Okay. Don't do it, y'all.
Yeah.
But no, it is like taking in your vitamins. It is like a boost of anti-negativity. You got antibiotics to take for an infection, but when it comes to gratitude, it is like a shot of anti-negativity for your life. Amen. So we can always find something, going on that we get to flip the script on. And it changes people around us. I remember one time when my granddaughter, she's almost 13 now, but when she was 4, she looked at me one time and she said, "You know what I really like about you, Grandma?" And I was like, "I hope a lot of things, but what is it?" She goes, "I like that you're always positive."
Oh, what a sweet
compliment. I was like, that's because I'm practicing gratitude, because the glass is no longer broken, spilling out everywhere. The glass is overflowing. Because that's what Jesus came for, us to have life, and life more abundant. He came to, we're going to have trouble and tribulations in the world. Paul was talking about it. There's circumstances constantly to snip us and to steal our joy, but we refuse. We refuse. We have a no tolerance attitude when it comes to rejecting the lies of the enemy and receiving what God has for us, because there's days where things are going to be hard. What you went through with Bill, and I kind of reflect back, because our last broadcast, Bill was here, and now he's graduated. Hallelujah. And, thankful for the cross that you'll get to see him again. But it doesn't change it. At the same time, my sister, she had lost her husband, and my brother had lost his wife, and all of these people that I know and love, and I can't wrap my brain around it, because I've lost both parents, but it's different when you lose a spouse.
It is.
Because you're one, and so it's such a challenge. So today, whenever I was driving home, and we had so much technical difficulties earlier, I was praying. I was like, "Lord, Larissa is a perfect example of how you are taking what the enemy meant for harm to turn around for good. Because see,
Mhm.
he tried to use that to shut you down and shut you up. But yet
Yeah.
here you are still walking in your calling. And I
Mhm.
imagine that great cloud of witnesses, including Bill, is up there going, look at my girl. Look, she's still rocking it. Not only is she inspiring people with her broadcast, her blogging, and all of her projects, but now this is big. This is a year-long
Mhm.
project. So
Yeah, I'm so excited, Maggie, because like you said, yeah, the statistics supposedly show 21 days to create a new habit, but we've all been there. Like I have, eaten healthy for 30 days and 45 days and fallen off the wagon just like that. And even as one who has cultivated gratitude for 8 years, I still have to check myself. I mean, again, that's why I love the brushing of the teeth example, because we do not brush our teeth on December 1st and expect to have good breath on the 31st or good hygiene, right? It's a constant. Just like muscles, right? We don't get to go into the gym and lift 5 pounds one time and expect to grow muscles. Gratitude is a muscle, and it goes against every like natural part of us, right? And the world says, like, how can you be grateful? Your husband is no longer here. And I'm not grateful that he's not here, but man, I am grateful he's no longer in pain. I'm grateful that he's healed and whole. We prayed for healing. We
yes,
didn't get it here on this side of heaven, and I don't know why, but I don't have to know the why to still know that God is good and to still give him thanks, because I still have a roof over my head. I have a fabulous bulldog. I have the blessing of friends. As you said, I get to continue to minister. My ministry has not changed. The call on my life has not changed. It's just things look different, and I
right.
have different experiences to bring to the table. And unfortunately, I'm not the first widow, and I won't be the last. And so, yeah, would I prefer it to be a different ministry? Would I prefer it to be a different platform? Absolutely. But God, like you said, God is just too good. He gave us Jesus, and he sacrificed his own son for us. And so, I mean, I do something we call weep and walk, right? I read that concept somewhere. So yeah, I still cry. I'm still sad. I still struggle. I see a counselor, a Christian counselor. I
Yes,
still cultivate gratitude. But God is still good. And he is, I mean, this is a physical product. Our crew, our Gr8tful Tribe, has wanted something for 6+ years that I've been broadcasting. I just went over 6 years of live broadcasting in July, and I didn't ask for broadcasting. I had no idea what that was. I just knew I wanted to make an impact, and I wanted to share what the Lord put on my heart. And sometimes we don't have a place for that, especially as a military spouse and doing all the moving. I had to start over every time. I couldn't just walk into a church and go, okay, let me teach, let me do this, let
right.
me do that. People don't know you. But with this kind of thing, I have just been able to keep showing up, and I've done it in a car. You know that back in the Periscope days when we
Yeah,
used to use our phones, we were driving, not me driving, my husband was driving, literally sitting in a chemo cube, literally in hospitals, and then also at fun places like restaurants and those kinds of things. So God has been very sweet, and he's just been too good to us,
mm,
for us not to continue to seek him and praise him and cultivate gratitude. And yeah, some days it's harder, Maggie. Wow, there are some days, even when Bill was alive, man, the night he almost died, that was not an easy night at all. And hearing him puke while I'm trying to broadcast, that's not fun. But
no,
God is still good. And we had 5 years after the diagnosis, the terminal diagnosis, and Bill just handled it like a champ.
yes, he
I mean,
did.
he left not only a legacy in general, but I keep feeling like the Lord is reminding me of what I watched happen, and the difference that it made in my life. So I just think, like you said, the world is so negative, and the world doesn't want us to see the good, and so we have to fight back. It
Yes,
is a fight, and that's why it
yes,
doesn't come naturally. Thinking about what you're grateful for. I mean, most of us, when something happens, the first thing we don't go is, oh, wow, okay, opportunity to grow. This is great. No, I still think like, like this afternoon, right? It's like, why is this not working? And we've got things to do and blah, blah, blah. But we just did what we could. We did our best. And then the Lord opened up an opportunity for us both to come back tonight. And we still get the message out, right? Is it convenient? Did it go like we wanted to? No, but I mean, life's not going to go the way
That's
we
right.
want it to. And gratitude reminds us of the stuff that has gone right. Because, Maggie, this, we can find what we're looking for. So we want to find negativity. I could tell you about my whole day, right? I woke up with a headache. I didn't sleep well last night. I could focus on that, or I could say, okay, Lord, this is not how I wanted this day to start, but I'm just going to get up and keep moving. And the Lord has just been sweet.
Yeah, it goes back to I'm real passionate about taking our thoughts captive. And that's what gratitude is we stop and we say, okay, where are you at in this, God? Because I know you're somewhere in it, because you're present all the time. You see the good, the bad, the ugly. You see it all. And yet, I think just humanity is it, the Bible talks about men love the darkness, and so they automatically want to go to that negative place. And it kind of, I think it confuses demons when we practice gratitude in the midst of the storm.
Yeah.
When things are going wrong, when we're expected to cave and so forth. Does that mean that we get it right all the time? No, it does not. No. What it means is we know where our source comes from. We know who to turn to. We know that we need to be able to be in a situation to just pay it forward and take our thoughts captive and say, okay, yeah, maybe this is going on, but today I'm going to be thankful. Just for today, I'm going to be thankful. Years ago, I was involved in like a codependency group, and Melanie Beatty had a quote that was so powerful, but it was talking about gratitude, and it was always one of my favorite quotes. And somebody posted it today, and you would think I would remember it, since it's one of my favorite, but it's like I have the wisdom strands for a reason. But maybe I'll post it in the chat so you guys will know. But it is true. It is taking something small and saying, okay, God, I know you're in this. So let's talk a little bit about your community, because I love your community. I literally feel like, the old TV show, and I'm not promoting bar TV shows, but Cheers, right? I want to go where everybody knows your name.
That's my name.
And so I always think of that when I go into your broadcast, because everybody is so encouraging and lifting up. It's like showing up at a party. So did you ever, when you started on Periscope all those years ago, 8 years ago, did you ever imagine that you would have a tribe of people, partying a day? Well, I know you broadcast twice a week now, right?
Three times a week right now. Yeah. I used to 5 times. Yeah.
Yeah. 3 times that's still amazing.
It's still a lot, especially
let's talk about your community.
Yeah, God just was really sweet. So it's so interesting how the whole Periscope thing happened, because it was actually our pastor's wife that got me on Periscope, and she no longer, of course, Periscope is retired, but within weeks, she didn't have the app on her phone. She wasn't coming into my broadcast, but the Lord used her. I got on there. I was the first one out of all of my friends, which is so unusual. Usually someone else tells me about something. And so started broadcasting, but it was 15 minutes. And I wasn't showing my face. That was back when we had the female and the male bulldog, Hope and Chip. So it was Hope Scopes and Chip Chronicles. And I would just share like less than 15 minutes, just really quick, kind of from a bulldog's perspective, because I knew that that the Lord wanted me to share what was on my heart. I just didn't understand the who, what, where, when, why. And again, as a Marine spouse, I knew lots of people throughout the world, but when you are constantly moving to new places, you have to kind of start over each time. And so I had no idea what the Lord was going to do, but 6 years later, we have been so blessed. We became a super broadcaster at some point, and our tribe just got huge. And then, Maggie, I think this is the funnest part for me. I did not realize this about our community. I knew I loved our community, but Bill was, when he had first started chemo, we're sitting in the chemo cube, and we had a friend who was getting married in Pennsylvania. So we're in Texas, and this friend, it was a later in life second marriage, and we were so excited for her, and we knew we were going to go. No matter how Bill felt, we were going. So I get out my paper planner, because I'm a paper planner, and I get out these small Post-it notes, because Bill's like, okay, we're gonna plan a trip. And I'm like, okay, well, Pennsylvania's not that far from us. Well, like 12 states later, Bill has this like world tour that he wants to go on, because he's like, now that we've gotten to this point, we're so close, we might as well move on. And I'm not great with geography, but anyways, we ended up, I don't know how many states. We were gone for probably 40 some odd days. But what was cool about that is when I started telling people about it on my broadcast, people were like, hey, I live in Tennessee. We live right off of XYZ highway. Could we meet you for lunch? Or can we meet? Where are you going to be? And we will meet you. Maggie, I had one person who drove 3+ hours one way to meet me at a golf course while Bill was golfing on our last like world tour. And she visited with me for about 2 or 3 hours and then drove another 3 to 4 hours home. And that's
Wow.
just one person. So I ended up meeting over 100 people, and Paul, who you did a shout out to, was one of those people that I got to meet eyeball to eyeball. So we got to take this online community that none of us had met each other, and we got to meet each other eyeball to eyeball. And wow, I mean, talk about the difference that makes. And it has just grown. And really, to be honest with you, it is this tribe that has helped me. They were there all the years with Bill being sick, in the chemo cube, on the road trips, the good and the bad. They celebrated. I mean, they sent gifts. Like we got dog bones, and we got golf balls, and of course, cute donut stuff. I mean, I get so much donut stuff because everyone knows how much I love donuts. And it's not about the gifts, right? You and I, we don't broadcast for financial
Right.
gain or the gifts, but they are just this blessing. When the Lord calls us to do something, it's just one of the ways that he blesses us. And several of those people are still texting me every day, showing up on my broadcast, asking me how I'm doing, sending Samson stuff. And everybody was equally as devastated. They loved Bill. Bill would pop into my broadcasts. And of course, he was driving a lot of the times, and he supported it wholeheartedly. And so now we've got this tribe that's both online and offline. We have people who are out of the country, and it's just been a blessing. And getting to know you and lots of other broadcasters, right? Because nobody really understands this whole broadcasting thing unless you are a broadcaster. And I was talking about that yesterday or on Monday on my broadcast. None of us were prepared for like the trolls, the really mean people, the people that would say things, and you were like, wow, I'm not prepared for that. But wow, the Lord grew me, and it has made all the difference
Yes.
now, because I mean, the stuff that they used to say, now I'm like, wow, like that almost took me out. And now I'm like, oh yeah, you have no power or authority over me. So it grew me. And then, like you were saying, and I know Keith agrees with this as well, the impact we get to make because we're showing up.
Yeah.
I mean, that consistency key, and being able to love up on people in Tennessee and on the West Coast and in France and in other countries. People send me messages all the time, and I get to make an impact from the comfort of my home, which is amazing when you're a full-time caregiver for someone who's dealing with terminal cancer. So
Absolutely.
and the leaders, I think the other thing that was so precious to me is meeting women like you and meeting leaders like Paul and Keith and so many others who were doing things differently, right? So
Right.
outside of the church, which we love the local church, so don't get me
Yes.
wrong.
Right.
Go to your local church, show up, love your pastors. It's Pastor Appreciation Month. But there's also so much that needs to go on outside of the church. And you and all of those other leaders were that for me. We embraced each other. We encouraged
Yes.
each other in our calling, because we're all going to be called to do stuff that is not easy. You don't have to be a broadcaster
That's right.
to do that. But yeah, so anyways, that whole long answer to say Gr8tful Tribe is amazing, so blessed, and they're carrying me. They're still carrying me, Maggie. I mean, they're sending messages. Where have you been for the last 3 weeks? Because I was sick, and what can we do? How can we help? Where can we meet you? When's the next time you're going to be on the road? That kind of thing, which is really sweet.
I love it. I love it. You know, because there are in relationships in general, whether they're online relationships or local relationships or family relationships or work relationships, they can get really complicated. And people will talk about, well, relationships on the cloud are not real relationships. I beg to differ. You just heard out of the mouth of someone who has been broadcasting for 8 years how supportive people all around the world was in the time of trouble when she needed people to be praying and standing and so forth. And yeah, there are some people that will blow smoke up your butt. Okay. I don't mean to gross anybody out or,
Yeah.
you know, but there are those people. But
Yeah.
real, it recognizes the real. And it's the growing. I mean, I am a better person because of the crew and the tribe that we hang with. You know, Keith and Paul, and I've learned a lot from them. And Justin is our buddy. You know, we both are all in that together, and we have grown so much together. And I know a year ago, gosh, in March of 2020, I did not publicly put on Facebook when I had COVID because I didn't want a lot of people speaking death over me. I wanted people speaking life. And so
Right.
I knew who I could trust. And I could go to that inner circle and say, hey guys, I'm going through this. And everybody could intercede, and I would know that it was authentic relationship. And so, and we have not met. Now I'm going to meet Keith here soon because Keith was just in Franklin, right down the road, 30 minutes away. April Metzler was in Nashville, but I was still on the end of having to do a little bit of quarantine stuff. But anyway, I'm going to get, you know, it's opportunities to reach out and see the people that we've already cultivated relationships with. So if you are looking to be encouraged, I encourage you to check out her broadcast. She broadcasts 3 times a week. I know she broadcasts on, was it Tuesday morning, Wednesday nights?
No, Monday and Thursday mornings
Monday
at
and Thursday mornings and
9:15
Wednesday
a.m.
nights.
Central Standard Time, and then 2 Wednesdays a month at night, so at like 6:50 p.m. So on Happs. But you can also follow me. The probably the easiest way to find me would be on Instagram if you're looking for Gr8tful Chick. And if you can't find me, just touch base with Maggie because she'll be able to share with you where to find me. But right now, especially with the cultivating of gratitude and the launch, I'm going to be on Instagram a whole lot more. But it's just been such a blessing, Maggie. And I know you have been a blessing to me. The way you have spoken life into me and been there has just been amazing. And like you said, we have not met eyeball to eyeball, but we will, because I know I'm going to get back on the road one of these days. I don't love to drive, and I certainly don't want to drive by myself. But man, I've told Samson the bulldog several times, if I liked to drive, we would just be getting in the car and going, because everybody's invited us and they're like, bring the dog. I think sometimes people want to see Samson before they want to see me, which
Samson's
is fine.
cool.
He is way cool. He's way cool. But just being able to step out in faith because the Lord has called you to do something, and you don't have to understand it. You don't have to know. I knew nothing about broadcasting, nothing. Right. I know how to talk, but it's totally different when you're trying to come with a message and share and make points and get interrupted and deal with technology. And now the technology is so much more advanced. And I almost, I wondered when Periscope retired if that was it. I'm like, okay, Lord, because every time before I broadcast, Maggie, I always do this, open hands. And I'm like, Lord, you give and you take away. So I'm going to show up. I love this. I think I've been created to do this, but I'm going to trust you. And if not this, help me. And so when Periscope was retiring and everybody's flipping out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Wasn't convenient for me. A couple months after my husband went home to be with Jesus, and now I'm trying to change all of this stuff, and change is hard. And God just continued to provide, and he's continuing to call us to broadcast for right now. Is there more? Is there gonna, what is he gonna do? I don't know. I'm just continuing to be faithful and do my best. And hopefully I'll get to see people more eyeball to eyeball, because you and I both know, man, nothing takes the place of hugging people. And I remember the first time I got to meet Justin, I was like, we met at a restaurant and with his wife and one of his kids. And then also his mom came, and we got to see Pastor Tommy, and we ate at an interesting restaurant, something like Joe's Gizzards or something. I mean, it was, but they're just, our relationship with all those people dramatically changed. And I'm still good friends with all of them today because of that eyeball to eyeball connection. So, and you know me, I could go on and on about community and gratitude.
Yeah. And you Jesus. Do community well. And
Thank
so
you.
she also, listen, y'all, if you're thinking I can't practice gratitude, she also coaches people. So reach
Mm,
out to her, follow her on all the social media platforms,
yep.
Insta, Facebook, Happs. She's on Happs as
Hmm.
well.
Yep.
If you're not on Happs, it's okay. You can find her on, like I said, on Facebook, Insta,
Hmm.
and I had your website up here a minute ago. Illustrated Faith is where you can go and get
The
the
product.
project that's coming out, the
Uh-huh.
product.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
be watching that website for that. And then in addition to that, you can follow her right now on
Hmm.
social media. And
Hmm.
when she goes live on Happs, it pretty much goes out everywhere. But
Yeah.
Insta is a sweet spot for her. So if you're on Instagram, make sure you find Gr8tful Chick, and it's Gr8 full.
8.
Eightful,
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's such a sassy way of saying grateful. It's like,
Well, thank you.
I love it. One last thing. I know we're a little
Yeah.
bit over our time, but one last thing. I want to for you to take a moment to talk about the military ministry that both you and
Mm,
Ginger are involved with. Can you
yeah.
talk a little bit about that as well?
I would love to. So we, Ginger and I, are part of an amazing military ministry called Planting Roots. And so Planting Roots was probably started about 6 or 7 years ago as well. And it's a military ministry by military women for military women. Now, men can hop on the Facebook and do that kind of thing, but we have been called as women to love up on, equip, and resource other women, whether they're active duty, retirees, prior military, married to the military, married to a retired military person. And our heart is just to love up on these military women, whether they were active duty or retired or a military spouse, whether you're in, Kansas or Korea, right? We want to love up on you and resource you because it is a difficult life. I mean,
Yeah,
I lived it, and it is a difficult life having to pick up and move every 2 to 4 years, depending on what branch of service you're in, moving overseas and leaving everything behind. Because imagine, Maggie, I lived overseas the first time when we didn't have internet or barely internet, no cell phones, and making phone calls home was expensive. I mean, that was a
sure.
thing. Now everybody doesn't get that, right? But we were not on the phone all day, every day, talking to mom or sister or best friend. And so it's just been a really neat opportunity to minister to other women. We've written a ton of Bible studies. Some of the Bible studies have been free. So it's just been a great ministry. We actually have a live event coming up this October, this month. I'm not going to be able to be at it, but it's towards the end of the month. So plantingroots.net is where you can go if you are active duty, retiree, a sister or an aunt to a soldier, sailor, airman, Marine, merchant Marine. We want to be there for you. The in-person events, and obviously, because this is your heart as well. I love the internet. This is where I've been called to be a light. I know you have been too, Keith, Coach, Justin. So many of us have been
Yes.
called to be a light on social media, and we definitely, that's a full-time job. But to
Yes.
get to be able to minister to people eyeball to eyeball, to see their sweet faces, and then to be encouraged by them, right? Because I've gone to these events and I've served and I've gotten to speak, I've gotten to do different things, and wow, what the women have done for me
Mm,
has just been amazing. So plantingroots.net, we would love to resource you. We'd love to love up on you. We go live several days a week. We're on Instagram as well, Pinterest, all the places. But that has been amazing. And because of that, Maggie, I have a couple ladies in our Gr8tful Tribe who have dealt with negativity and who God has brought them to the other side because they've gotten to hang out with us, because we have
yes.
just shown up, done the ministry of presence, right? Been consistent and loved them, and now they are a huge part of our tribe, and I've met them eyeball to eyeball, which is super super fun. I actually wrote about both of them in the devotion. Both of
Oh,
them are in the devotion because they
sweet.
came from such a negative place, and we know lots of people are dealing with that. So thank you for asking. Plantingroots.net, amazing ministry, some quality team members who just, I mean, God has given us amazing speakers, authors. Probably half our team are authors. which has just been amazing. So reach
Yeah.
out if you need resources, if we can love up on you, if we can pray for you, if you are, in any way, shape, or form associated with the military. So thanks for asking. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's near and dear to my heart. I'm not military. I've had family members that are military though. My husband was in the National Guard, when he was young and stuff like that. But I have a heart to see people connect, and it changes things. There's that saying that you're around, you become like the 5 people that you're around the most. And here's a perfect example. 2 women that have gone through trying circumstances, negative, have changed over to positive, which is now changing the impact of their sphere of influence. So if you think that shifting the way you think and practicing gratitude is something that is, that's just something that people talk about or whatever. No, it's powerful. It works. And Gr8tful Chick is a perfect result of that. So, Larissa, we can hang out for hours. I love you so much, sister. I love you so much, and I'm so grateful. If you could leave the audience with the key, what would that key be?
Oh, gosh, the key.
And it could be, it could be a key, not the key, but a key.
Right. Well, and I kind of said it earlier, be intentional, make it simple, but definitely cultivate gratitude daily. But one of my favorite quotes, gratitude quotes, and unfortunately there's no author that we know of, attitude is the difference between an ordeal and an adventure. And that has made all the difference in my life, is changing that, reframing that thought process. Like you mentioned, traffic. I was the worst in the car, the worst. And the Lord, man, he worked on me. And not that I love me some traffic, don't get me wrong, but I've just learned, I pray for people. I remember, why are you in a hurry? You're always on time. You're a timely person. You left yourself plenty of time to get there. What is the deal? But that has made all the difference in the world. And that's how Bill and I survived 5 years of terminal cancer. So 8 years total, but 5 years, because Bill had a sense of humor. It sucked to be in the chemo cube, but when we were done, man, we went over to Chipotle's and had us some lunch, and we went home and we napped and we watched movies and we lived life. We did not bury our heads in the sand. We knew it was real and what was going on, but we approached life like we're supposed to, right? Like Christ came to give us life and give it abundant. Abundant life isn't, hiding at home, rolling up and saying, okay, we've been told you're going to die. We would have wasted 5 years if we didn't pay attention and look at it as an adventure. And on chemo, we took 2 major trips on the road for over 40 to 60 days. We took several other trips, and I got to meet over 100 people eyeball to eyeball. And God used Bill to set me up so that I could just keep rolling, literally. And so, attitude is the difference between an ordeal and an adventure.
Wow, what a great quote. I love that. And I also love the fact that Bill set you up for success. He connected you and all those people, and that his legacy lives on through Samson, through you, through the broadcast, through all of the things. And so I'm just so grateful that I had the opportunity to meet you, because when I seen what you were doing, it challenged me. It really did, because I was like, okay, here's someone who, by all life circumstances, could just say, okay, you guys, listen, Bill's getting worse and I'm going to stop now and I'll be back later. But you lived out loud to give an example of, this is the way you can get through things. And you gave people keys to be able to unlock that stuff. And so I'm forever grateful, no pun intended, for all that you've done. And I love you very much. So listen, y'all, you've got to go check out my girl, watch her broadcast, show up and hang out in her community, because they have fun. They have fun. My calendar is so busy, and I hate that I haven't been able to get over there. I don't know why I was able to get to Mondays. I'm teaching again, and that's why I missed that. One time I was watching my husband, we were having breakfast, and I had you on, and he said, how does she keep up with all those people? He's like, she just weaves in and out of it. And I'm like, I think that God just gave her extra perception whenever it started, because she can be celebrating somebody and answering somebody and all at the same time. So that's a gift. And
To
I'm
all the
glad that
Lord.
I have gotten to watch the gift over the years. Love you, girl. Listen, y'all, catch us here next time on Keys to Your Best Life. And go follow my girl, Larissa, Gr8tful Chick. God bless you guys. We'll see you
Thanks, you
next time.
guys. God
Bye.
bless. Bye.